disgusting.
That's why I asked.
Who's driving? It's over 9. What?
Trap car.
Additional.
Use the boots to get it. No.
Huh? What the f?
Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime. I am your online voice for reviews of your choice, and welcome to BS Reviews. Today, we take a look at the latest film from the mystery ending shocker director himself, M. Night Shyamalan, who had decided to try something different and instead of making his own original films, tried to adapt a popular Nickelodeon cartoon animated series to the big screen. It is a review of the film The Last Airbender. Now, the cartoon's actual name is Avatar: The Last Airbender, but they changed that to avoid obvious confusion with James Cameron's epic film Avatar. Last Airbender is brought to you by Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon Studios and was directed and written by M. Night Shyamalan, who's made such films as The Sixth Sense and The Happening. It stars Noah Ringer as Aang, the Avatar, Dev Patel as Prince Zuko, Nicola Peltz as Katara, Jackson Rathbone as Sokka, Shaun Toub as Uncle Iroh, and Azazif Mandivi as Commander Zhao. I don't know if I'm saying that guy's name right, but oh well. The plot of The Last Airbender. Last Airbender takes place in a more mystical-based version of Earth, where you have 4 powerful nations that are able to channel Earth's natural elements in energy format, known as benders. There's Earth, Water, Wind, and Fire. Fire being the most noticeable because they are the most dominant, as they seek out a form of domination and control across the world, trying to conquer and eliminate all the other nations so that they are the dominant, powerful nation, even going so far as to wipe out the airbenders entirely. Why, you ask? Well, because there's a legend saying a mysterious figure known as the Avatar will erupt from the airbenders and have the power to control all 4 elements and communicate with the mystical spirit world and be the head honcho figure of all nations. The legend comes true in the form of Aang, a mysterious boy who is locked in a block of ice and discovered by 2 people from the water tribe, waterbender Katara and her brother Sokka, who awaken him from his icy sleep. Now Aang and his new friends must try and join together with the other fallen nations in order to conquer the Fire Nation and defeat his arch-rival Prince Zuko, who will stop at nothing to bring the Avatar to his Fire Nation father and proclaim his throne as the next in line to the successor of the Fire Nation. Review of the plot. This is actually a really intelligent plot. It's actually quite well thought out, creative, imaginative, and has a unique spin on the whole, 4 natural elements kind of thing. I could see how people would love this in a cartoon show, or a TV series rather. Now, I have not seen the cartoon show. I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes, but I've heard phenomenal things from it. After seeing this movie, I discovered one very important thing. It should have stayed as a TV show or cartoon series. I have no problem with TV shows being adapted into big budget Hollywood films. But the problem is when you do that and you have a big and imaginative storyline like this, you have to take good care of it. And unfortunately, that's not what M. Night Shyamalan did here. I thought by him trying some material that wasn't his own would provide a better result from him directing. I still think he's a decent director. I just think he's made some really shitty choices in the past, like with The Happening and Late in the Water. Unfortunately, he just made the same choice here, where he took an imaginative storyline, but basically condensed it so small that it pretty much loses its creativity. I mean, having a TV series allows you a lot of elbow room to spend time developing the characters and the storyline and take your time making it as a much more effective series. Whereas here, he condensed 20-some episodes into a 90-minute movie. First off, this movie should have been at least 2 hours or so just to get a proper feel for the story and the characters. Instead, it's rushed and condensed in such a piss-poor, half-assed manner that you barely even know what the hell's going on because half of the most important story elements are being skipped over through narration or just rushed to the point where you can't even connect with anyone because the characters' relationships and their feelings have to be pushed out the door just so we can make that 90-minute mark. And that's really bad storytelling. And it's a shame because you have a really good story to tell here. Unfortunately, the story itself just gets pushed so quickly out the door you don't have any time to realize what the hell just happened. And that's a shame when you got such a visually appealing film that would have worked well with its mystical story. Review the characters. I do like the fact that M. Night Shyamalan took more unknown actors in here for his characters. I mean, there are a lot of relatively new faces here. Only a couple of them have been in any kind of films, and most of them not even that famous. Even with Dev Patel from Slumdog Millionaire is not what you'd call a big Tom Cruise kind of star, who, ironically enough, was actually the best character in here. His character of Prince Zuko was the most interesting because he was the only one who appeared to be really trying to get his character's role in his face, in his depth, and his emotions. Prince Zuko is an interesting character because he is a villain, yet he's portrayed as somewhat of a sympathetic character, and maybe that's how he is in the show. I don't know. I've never seen the show. But it definitely made him the more convincing and effective character in this film, even though he wasn't the star. Speaking of the star, we go to Noah Ringer, who played Aang. Now, I don't really have much to say about child actors because I feel it's unfair to attack child actors because they're children. You really can't judge them for being bad actors when they're new to it. I mean, everyone's got to start somewhere. And I've only seen like one or two child actors who really got it right on the first try. He was pretty good at fitting here. I don't think he's been in anything else. I mean, he really fit the bill physically. And he did have some moments where he was good and other moments where he was not so good. Nicola Peltz, who played Katara, was actually really cute. I think she really got the appearance of Katara down, even though I know there's a lot of nonsensical controversy about racism in this film, but I'm not going to get into that because that's just stupid crap. I liked her physically. Acting wise, not so much. She really didn't give the character much of an interesting personality. I mean, there was kind of a semi-running gag where she would constantly screw up her water spells, but that really didn't pan out too much, and even the jokes they did have with her weren't even that funny. They're like, that's okay stuff. Everyone else pretty much kind of blased through this. Jackson Rathbone as Sokka had some real potential that should be more interesting, but he played a very bland, pasty, uninteresting character. Same with the villains. The Commander Zhao by Asif Mandif, who I could not just get over from him seeing him in The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. The Shaun Toub as Uncle Iroh, Zuko's only real mentor in this film. It's all pretty blasé, simple, brushed, breezy characters with no real interesting personalities. And what's worse is that sometimes they do dramatic things with these characters, but we don't really give a shit about them because we barely had time to soak it up. Like there's a character named Princess Yue, played by Seychil Gabriel, who gets a romantic relationship with Jackson Rathbone's character Sokka. But they pretty much summed it up in the following sentence. It was clear that Sokka was good friends with the princess from the beginning. That's it. We have like 5-10 minutes to soak up their so-called relationship, and even when something important happens to them, it's impossible to take it really that seriously because we barely had time to absorb it. These characters don't have any time to grow, develop, or do anything interesting other than fight with kick-ass elemental battle sequences, which I do have to admit was very nicely shot. Which brings us to cinematography and the music. These are probably the best parts of the film. The camera work in here was really great, and it really showcased the beautiful, majestic quality of the foreign land that you're entering. All the magical battles and the fight sequences involved in the elements were really well done and showed a lot of tremendous artistic value, getting these incredible shots, matching with the battles and matching the people flying and all that. It looked really great, and the music made it sound so much more cooler than it actually was, unfortunately. It was dark, heavy, epic, really good music. It just didn't fit because the story wasn't as epic as the music was. I mean, that sounds kind of weird, but that's pretty much how it is. Flaws about the film. The biggest problem here is that The Last Airbender had such huge potential to be something interesting, and that all of the creativity and imagination in the story is right there. But the main problem with this film is that it's just too short, and it results in everything else getting shortened and goes way too quickly to make any kind of impact. This film had to be at least 2 hours to make any kind of significance. You probably would have had to make it almost to 3 hours if you want to try and do this thing justice, which it really didn't. If the cartoon series is anything like this movie, then I don't want to see the show. But from what I understand, it's a lot better than this. And this actually did a great injustice to the cartoon show. The only thing it really did was inspire me to want to check out the cartoon show, because while there is some interesting elements here, there just really isn't that anything great here outside of cool visual battles. It's rushed way too quickly with characters that are developed way too late and way too pathetically to be that captivating. Final wrap up, The Last Airbender had some potential with this really imaginative storyline. I like Dev Patel as Prince Zuko. He's not the only one trying here. Beautiful cinematography and music, and a really, really inventive plot. Unfortunately, it all gets thrown out the window to meet its 90-minute deadline. It's rushed way too quickly. Everything else suffers. Character development, storytelling, dramatic, effect, emotions. It's all hurried too fast out the door for us to even care. I definitely say wait for this to come out in video before you just go pay $8 at the movies to see it. It's a rental at best. It's better than Jonah Hex, but not by much. And while this is better than M. Night Shyamalan's last 3 shitfest movies, that's not really saying much. He could do a lot better here, especially with such great source material already at his fingertips. Bottom line, I give The Last Airbender 2 stars out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for listening, and goodbye for now.